Okay, we're going to replace this broken garbage disposal with a brand new one. So I'll show you the steps for doing just that. This is what the top side looks like. And we'll go down to below and start taking it apart. Okay, first things first, we have plumbing and electrical issues we need to undo. So here we got the, up on top, it's the dishwasher connection. We're going to disconnect that. It's going to be hooked up to the new one. And here we have the waste and the waste part. It goes down here and hooks right to their existing plumbing part. So this comes new on the new one. So we'll just take this will all come off from here. We'll loosen that up. So we'll take this off, move it off to the side, and snap it back onto the new one. This one here we'll undo it right here, and then put the new one right back into it. Okay, so that's those two connections there. Down here we have an electrical connection. It plugs in right here. And what we're going to do is just disconnect these wires here and plug them back into our new one. Okay, so this will all stay the same here at this connection. But here, we'll just disconnect it here, and that'll plug into the brand new one. So it's really just three connections besides the main connection up on top. So what I'm going to do is take these parts off first, and once I disconnect these two, then I'm going to pull this down, then I'll do the electrical connection last. That can be done laying down on the ground here. These ones have to be done now, and this will be what disconnects the whole thing, and I'll show you how to do that in a second. Okay, you just take a wrench and you pop it through here, but I'll show you about that. Okay, to remove it, once you took your plumbing here off, you take your plumbing off here, and then you disconnect your dishwasher hose here if you have one, and then I unplugged it. So it's just the cord just hanging there. Okay, and now to take this, disconnect this part up here, you just get this wrench that comes with the new one. Unless you have the old one, doesn't matter. They're all the same. And you simply put it inside one of these lugs here. Okay, just one of the holes. See, there's a few holes all the way around to give you easy access. And you put it in there, and you just start spinning it. And it spins real easily, see? So it spins real easy with this wrench. And so I'm going to not be able to videotape this part. It comes down too easily. So you simply just put it in there and unscrew it a little ways and the thing falls down, okay? Now to replace this part here, you could leave it if it wasn't leaking or anything, but they're nasty and they're old. If the disposer is old, so is that. So anyway, to replace it, look at this. Look at the plumber's putty. It just falls away and breaks away. So you definitely just want to replace it. It looks shinier, nicer, newer. Even though it's a little more work, not that much more. Replace that darn thing. Anyway, let me go ahead and you just want to undo these three screws. That loosens it all up. Get them down, and then just pops off. Put it in the new one exactly the same way you just took this one down. Okay. Once that's on, you're ready to screw the one back on. So it really is a simple process. Alright, so right now we're just going to undo these three screws, and the whole thing's going to come apart, and then we're going to put the new one back into place with the plumber's putty. I'll show you that in a second. Put the screws back in, and boom, we're done. Okay, I forgot to tell you, besides those three screws you undo, loosen up. You just loosen them up, you don't take them all the way out. There's a little O-ring right there. It's hard to see in this video, but there's a little O-ring. You use a screwdriver and just pop it loose. Okay, so the O-ring looks like that right there, and it just pops loose real freely. Anyway, that's what holds this in place. All right, then what you have left is that right there. We'll spin her off, put the new one on, and we're back in business. Okay, to redo the electrical connection, you have a little access box right here. It's the connection you want to take out. You want to take it all out in one piece so you can put it on the new one. And so you want to take out this access panel, undo the wires, slip this off. There's a little lock nut in there, I'll show you. Slip this off and put it on the new one, and we're back in business. Once you pull off the cover there, you're going to see the three wires that come from this cord here. And one's black, one's white, and one's ground. Just undo your ground that's connected to the machine, and undo your two wire nuts here. And we'll wind up doing the exact same thing in reverse when we go to install the new one. Okay, we got the tail off the old one. And that went smoothly, and now we'll go ahead and just plug it right into here. So again, you want to feed it through your hole with your piece here. Put the lock nut on it. That'll hold the thing together. That'll hold it together. And you stick it through, and then you put the lock nut in from this side here, Get that on there tightly. Make your wire connection. Black goes to black, white goes to white, and ground goes onto that screw. It's as simple as that. The difference might be on yours is you may not have a tail. May not have this that plugs in. You may have just a wire that comes out of the wall. But the wire that comes out of the wall looks just like this. It's black, white, and green. So again, if it has just that, and you don't have a plug-in, just do the same thing, black, white, and green. Simple as that. But don't make sure you use your Romex connector right here to go in regardless, okay? So your Romex connector goes in, that's what hooks it all up. That's regardless whether you have a tail or hardwired. Okay, a couple things to note. You don't need the lock washer. They don't give you enough room to use it, and they designed this hole now to just be able to screw in. So it has threads on this Romex connector, and you just simply thread the whole thing in. Okay, and the wire just spin inside there, and they're ready to do their thing here. And so that's another thing. You don't have to use a normally you always use a lock washer on the Romex connector, but you don't have to. They designed that hole to be different. I went ahead and set up the new one. It comes separately. There's a little washer you put behind there, and then you put this on and screw it in, a couple of screws, and you're set there. And important here is this is where the dishwasher goes. If you have a dishwasher, you need to knock out this hole. There's a hole in there, and I can't really show it to you, but there's a hole, and it has a plug. Because some people don't have dishwashers. So it just sit there plugged up and you don't even use it. But if you have a dishwasher, you hook the hose on here, you'd be messed up because that's a plug in there. You got to knock it out. Take a screwdriver with a hammer and tap it out of there, and then yank it out of the inside. Okay? You can yank it out from inside the hole here. Just pull it right out. Okay? Okay, you installed your wires. You got all your black to black, white to white, and your ground hooked on. Put your cover plate back on, and we're ready to put this in. We removed the old drain. We're ready for this part of the job now. And it's got all kind of old plumber's putty and stuff. It's just all dried and caked up and crummy. Want to clean this whole area up real sweet, real nice, top and bottom, so everything's totally brand new. And from there, we'll go ahead and we'll start the process. This is a pumice scouring stick. It's the end of one. Used to be much bigger, and it said pumice scouring stick. Anyway, it cleans up porcelain really well. It takes off. It's really impossible to get to without it. It's actually like a really light rock. It's pumice, and even if it's artificial pumice, I don't believe it is. I believe it's real pumice. But even if it's artificial pumice, same stuff. It's the same effect, and that's why they're calling it that. But anyway, it works great as a rock. I already got this part here done, but whenever there's a stain or whatever, you want to just go over the whole thing, like you can use in toilets and sinks and anywhere there's porcelain, and it just cleans it all, cleans all the hard water stains and that kind of stuff right off. Okay, stuff that's just impossible to get clean. That gets it real clean. So it's completely gone. Looks absolutely perfect. It's brand new. I mean, as smooth as a baby's butt. Not that I would know how smooth one of those is, but the point is, it's smooth. Okay, as we continue to install the garbage disposal, this is the brand new top. It's going to go right there in our newly cleaned out, completely clean, absolutely spotless sink. Looks like it's brand new. We're going to put this brand new puppy in there, and it's going to hook to our brand new garbage disposal. So here we go. We'll start with the first thing. We're going to make a bead of putty, plumber's putty, and then we're going to, I'll show you. The first thing we're going to do is loosen these 3 screws here, and that's going to loosen up the system. We're going to take this O-ring out with just a regular screwdriver, pop it right off, and that'll separate the pieces. Okay, we just separated the O-ring. Again, just a regular screwdriver pops it right off. Set this aside, this goes in the bottom for sure. That goes in the bottom for sure, so we'll be doing that from underneath the sink. And then from here on the top, only thing goes on the top is just this ring here. Okay, it's the ring you see, it'll say inSinkErator or whatever you get. Right from it, we're going to put plumber's putty on it, set it right down in here. Everything else you see is going to go on from the bottom. Okay, so only thing that's going here is the ring. Alright, so I'll do the plumber's putty now. Okay, make a snake of a plumber's putty. Again, plumber's putty comes in a little tiny tub. If yours is dried out at all, throw it away. It's only $1. Get brand new stuff. Anyway, take it and knead it in your hands, a bunch. Just knead it in your hands for 30 seconds or a minute, and then roll it, roll it between your hands in your flat palms, and roll it till it's a snake. You know, we've all played with Play-Doh when we were a kid. This is it. Play with Play-Doh. Make it a snake and then connect the dots. Here's your connection of the dots. Go all the way around one time. And then what I'm going to do after I make that connection, it's going to form it in there the way it's going to lay. Okay, the way it's going to lay, I'm going to just kind of help it. I mean, you could just leave it like that and stick it in there and let it force it. But instead of prying it like that, I'm going to pre-pry it, if you will, and I'll show you the finished. Okay, you just want to rotate it in your hands like this. I can't do it with one hand, but rotate it in your hands like this to force it between this edge and this edge. Okay, it just makes kind of a bevel from a little bit to nothing on this outside edge. Okay, and so I don't know if you can see right there. It's kind of like formed like a bevel, and just take it and play with it. It's like Play-Doh. Just take it, put it on there. That way it doesn't have to do as much forcing when you push it on there. Okay, so that's the way it's going to look. All beveled up real nicely. You want to set this thing because it doesn't really move. You set it right where the sign is going to be facing you. So it says inSinkErator, food waste disposer. It's all right there. You're going to push it into place, and that's sealed. You know, that's sealed. I bet you it would hold water now, but it's not going to have to because we're going to have all this mechanism here. It's really awesome design mechanism to crush it in, hold it even tighter. So it's going to do a really good job and be perfect and leak free. Okay, that's the way the bottom looks. It's nice and clean. We just pushed it down into the hole. Looks really nice. It looks like it's centered pretty well. So we're just going to go ahead and put our pieces back on. The first thing, I'm not sure if I'll be able to do it with one hand, but you put this piece on first. That's your paper, okay? And I'm going to put that piece on first, and then this piece here is cupped. You want the flat part up. Okay, that's going to go on next. And then the next part will be this thing here. It'll go up there, and actually goes this way. It goes this way, and we'll use the ring to hold it in place. We're going to use the ring to hold it in place once I get it up there, okay? Yeah, there's no possible way I was going to do that by one hand. So two-handed was a little bit of a bear, not too bad. You know, I want you to still do it. Don't hire somebody to do this. It costs a lot of money to hire somebody. You can do it yourself. Anyway, the ring, just want to loosen these bolts, and a couple of tips. Loosen these bolts all the way down to almost, you know, a couple threads. So it gives you a lot of room up here to play. And then it moves real freely. And then you can just hold it down. If someone's on top pushing down a little bit, just holding it in place, that'll be better, but I'm by myself, so I just had to hold this cup down, the initial cup we put down from above, hold it down while pushing up the O-ring. So it was a little bit of a pain in the rump from down here by myself, but you know, I got accomplished in a minute or two. But so it definitely took more than one hand though. So alright, so that's the way it looks, and then we'll go from here. Well, all I'm going to do now is tighten these up, making sure that's secure, and that's it. The thing's sealed. It's an awesome design. It's engineered perfectly to be an awesome seal. And as soon as that's done, we'll just snap our thing right to it, our disposer right to that. So let me go ahead and tighten those up, and I'll again tighten it up with just a screwdriver. You know, we're just going to go like a screwdriver a little bit at a time, each one, until they're all uniformly tight. Okay? Okay, it's all tightened up now. And again, just want to tighten up these 3 screws. Let's hand tighten them first. And again, about where it goes. Double check that your nameplate up there is straight and everything. And then come out just a little bit of turning each one with the screwdriver, you know, all the way around little by little until it's perfect. Okay, it's rock solid right now. It's a good seal no matter what. Now we'll just slip on our disposal.